Hello, my crafty friends, and welcome to A Crafter's Story. My name is Celeste, and thank you for joining me. So I'm playing with a new idea, and while I don't have a whole bunch to show you yet, I thought I'd bring it to you because maybe it sparks an idea for you. So I've started this idea book. It's just a plain old composition book, and this is not the project. This is just how the idea sparked in my head. And I'm gluing pages together, and I'm gluing pages on the pages and just trying a bunch of different things in here. And I'm going to keep this as a gallery of sorts, so that I can keep coming back to it and looking at what worked, what didn't work. And one of the things that I tried, and I think it worked, is to take some of this lunch wrap, this aluminum lunch wrap, and there are 25 foil sheets in here. I got it from the dollar store. It's very, very thin sandwich wrap, and the pieces are big. I mean, they're huge pieces, and there's 25 in here, so it's pretty good value. And yeah, I know you can get them pretty much all over the place, but I just happened to be in the dollar store and picked up a big old sheet. And so what I did with this page is I glued it down, and I just used my regular, well, not this one, not the washable school glue. I actually used the extra strength, but I got this glued down, and so you can see that side is nothing. And on this side, I went and bought some of the Folkart metallic paint. Now, the gold is $1.97. It's really, really inexpensive. For some reason, when you start getting into the coppers and some of the metallic colors, they anywhere from $3 to $5. And they're small bottles, but it seems like a little bit goes a long way. So I took the copper and the gold, and I smushed it on with my fingers. I suppose if you had a foam brush, that would work, because the paintbrushes were making streaks. And so I put it on just with my fingers and left it to dry. And I thought, oh, you know what? It's going to scratch off the minute I come in here with anything, but it doesn't. It doesn't scratch off. The metallic paint on the aluminum foil, the tin foil, doesn't come off. So that was a nice surprise. And then I thought, well, okay, it's in my idea book. I know this works. I know I can paint on it. I know the glue will stick. It'll stick to paper with the glue. All of those, check, check, check. Now what? So I'm doing something just pretty simple, but I want to show you first of all how easy it is to paint on here. And then I'm going to cover a tiny little journal with it. But I was thinking, you could, what I do, I'm going off topic again. It's my usual trick, right? When you buy notebooks or notepads, and once you've used up all the paper, you usually have one of these backings behind the very last sheet, and I keep them because I got a stash. I got a big old stash, and because I thought, well, I could probably use this painted tinfoil and cover a piece of board like this, and then chop a little half circle in here, and then I have a pocket. So that's an idea. It could be an entire book cover. It could be a tag, all covered with this tinfoil that we've painted with a metallic paint. And the metallic paint comes in quite a large variety. I think I saw like 24 different metallic colors. There's blue and green and aquamarine and gold and copper and silver and garnet red and just a whole bunch. So you can go to town. And I was going to use this, but I decided I probably don't need this today. Okay, so getting in here, going to put down a little bit of this, just a little bit of the gold, because I feel like I do want to do a little pocket of some kind. Should we try one of the, this is the garnet red. Let's put a little bit of that down, see what that comes out. Something I tried just as I'm doing this, I wonder if I've got it close at hand. I don't know where I put it, but while I was experimenting in my little gallery book there, I thought, oh, you know what? If it does scratch off, maybe I can use a matte gel or a Mod Podge or something like that to seal it in. Or maybe even some of my liquid, white liquid glue. That turned out to be a bad idea because it dulls the whole idea of a metallic paint in my mind is to have that shimmer, right? It's metallic. And the Mod Podge and the liquid glue and the matte medium, the matte, that should have given it away. It dulls it. It doesn't work. It looks awful. So while it did seal it in, it also kind of took away from the whole theme of the sort of glitzy feel that I was going for. So that didn't work. So just a mention that that was a oops, but it was a good oops because it means that I now know not to use anything to cover it with. Got a little spot down here and a little spot down here. Just a drop. And get that. Which finger do I need? I need this finger. Not the red finger. I need the bronzy goldy finger. Gold finger. Oh, okay, I won't sing. I promise I won't sing. Something that I noticed as well is it does blend quite nicely. So if you do want to blend, where's my idea book? Yeah. It does blend quite nicely together, so it doesn't leave a definite line. So that, you know, if you want maybe a graduation or an ombre effect of different greens or different blues or different pinks, I think that could look quite nice. Okay, a little bit down here because I think this little piece, to not waste it, I'll use it as a pocket a little later on. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. It takes a minute to dry. I think it took a good, I don't know, I forget now actually, 2 hours roughly to dry. So I'll move it off to the side. Just gonna plonk it on the floor. There you go. And get out a little wet wipe here just to wipe my fingers. And then I want to cover a little mini journal. Don't throw your wet wipes out, you guys. If you have these wet wipes, they make really nice covers. I did a video really early on in my YouTube journey, and maybe I should do another one because that was a while ago, and showing you how to use these guys, because when you use them to clean up your surfaces and your fingers, and it does leave all these really nice stains. And sometimes they actually look really nice in journals when you treat them with some PVA glue. And anyway, that's a whole different, let's see, video. Okie dokie, artichoke. So what I've got here is one of these little mini journals that I found in my drawer. Had a sticker here that I just pulled off. And oh dear, it's seen better days. But I'm going to cover it with a green. I painted this with the green metallic. Oh, I think I lost. Oh no, I didn't. Thought I lost a little goodie, but I didn't. Oh my gosh, I watched a YouTube channel, and the lady's name is Lizzie, and I forget her last name, but she had me in stitches because she would forget the names of the things that she was using. She said, "Where's my doohickey? Oh, I found my doohickey. It's okay, here's my doohickey." And then she'd be working on it, and then she'd have to find another doohickey. And oh my gosh, she made me laugh so much. It was fun to watch. So the thing I'm going to do first, I think, is just to get some of my double-sided tape. And I'm going to put a little bit of double-sided tape up the top here on the back, because we're going to cover this little journal. Because it actually looks really nice. It looks like you've covered it in a piece of metal. Well, that's what I'm hoping it's going to look like. Let's see. What's in my head, what actually happens is sometimes two very different things. Okay, let's get a little bit of glue down onto the book. Let me get my bearings here. So it's going to be like that and then like that, right? So, okay. I'll get a little bit of this fabric tack down. My new favorite glue. I'm pretty sure I'll find another favorite glue sometime. Okay, let me get my bearings again. So I can go down here like that. Maybe go a little bit in. There you go. And then a little bit over here. So this is not a super complicated craft. It just has a very, to me anyway, has a very sort of upmarket feel, because it looks like you used a very expensive gold foil if you were using the gold. And while this is not necessarily a cheaper option to buying the gold foil, it is just, I've always wanted to work with gold foil, but I haven't, or at least not that often, just because it's a little intimidating. It's so fragile, and I think that's why I prefer this, because like I said, once you've bought all the paints, it's actually not necessarily cheaper than buying foil, gold leaf foil to craft with, but to me it's just easier to work with. Sorry guys, I'm trying to move this along and get this covered. I'm going to cut my corners off here and corners off there, and there and there. Okay, so now just pull off some of this double-sided tape and we can quickly get this covered. Oh no, not the whole thing. Let's see if I do it this side. No, that side. Oh, there we go. Okay, almost there. I've got both of the sides pasted down on the inside. I'm going to put down a little bit of glue and put down this pretty paper just to cover some of this sort of untidiness that I feel like just needs a little bit of like something decorative. So I've pre-cut a piece of paper, some decorative paper, and I've already done it on the back. I'm just going to, I really just put the book down on this paper, traced it off, and cut it out, and then had to cut it slightly. Well, actually I haven't cut it smaller because you can do that afterwards. I'm going to just slip it in there. Because I put the book down and traced the book, when I cut it out, this piece is obviously too big, and that's fine. I will just cut it smaller as soon as the glue has gripped, and it won't move on me. So I'll put that aside just for a second. The next thing I'm going to make for this little journal is a little, what would you call, nameplate? I guess you call it a nameplate. And so if you take some corrugated board, cardboard, anything from a box, or in this case I've used one of those slip-ons that you get at the coffee shops, so you don't burn your hand, and they slip your coffee cup inside of this little sleeve, and if you open it up, it's got this really wonderful corrugation on the inside, and you could just cut it off there and there and paint it or cover it, and it can be a pocket. I'm sort of half working on one where I just painted it with the metallic paints. But for today, what I want to do is I cut a piece out, and I have some of the, where is it? Here it is. I have a little bit of foil with some gold paint on it drying right now, and what I'm going to do is cover this little piece, and this one's already done, but I want to show you a little bit of how I did it, and then we will make a nameplate for our little mini journal. I'm using my heat gun to hurry up the drying process, and where there were little pools of this gold paint, it has bubbled. So I wanted to show you. I'm sorry for the noise. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? But now that it's drying and the bubbles are flattening out as it's drying, I could even push them down a little bit. There we go. I can push it down. This actually, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I thought would happen. So definitely when you use a heat gun to dry this paint, it could bubble in places. So here where it was a little flatter and there wasn't pooling, it didn't do the bubbling. I don't actually think it's so terrible. I think this might almost look like a little bit of rust. You know how rust can bubble? So if this was copper, it would look like rust. I'm just wondering, it is dry now. If I use, this is just a somewhat dry little dauber. If I now came across here and just sort of almost encouraged shadows. This is something I didn't plan on doing. It's not something I knew would happen, but it's, I think, maybe a happy accident. Excuse me. Because it definitely seems like it's giving more of an aged look to this, almost like there was some oxidation or something. Oh, I kind of like that. I think that actually turned out nicely. I didn't expect it, but sometimes these things happen. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is just cut this loose. I don't need this whole piece here. I can use that later for something else. And get my little piece of that sleeve out that I cut out. And we're going to cover this now. Let's get out a little bit of glue. Get some glue down here. You don't need a whole bunch in the front because we're going to tie it down on the back. Just sort of, yeah, sort of like, maybe I can do it, maybe I should do it this way. Like that. Let's see, where is it? And then if you press down a little bit, some of that corrugation is going to come through, and there's that whole really nice sort of rust effect that I didn't expect to get, but there it is. And now I guess you kind of like it. I think it's kind of cool. All right, so let us get it. Unfortunately, I'm losing some of it here, but that's okay because I'm going to do another one and maybe do an entire book cover and have pooling on purpose so that I get that, because it's going to have a very different, this is very smooth, whereas this one that we're doing actually has some texture and a little bit of unintentional rusting, which I thought came out really nice. I really like. Okay. Get this. It's almost like wrapping a little gift, right? Just the same. Just very, very similar. All right. So there is our little name tag, or little nameplate, should I rather say. And on this one, I did actually put on a little bit of this black ink on the edges. And so I know that the ink will also, that's another thing, the ink does stay. It won't just rub off. It took a minute to dry, but for the most part, it did stay on. Okay, there we go. So we have another nameplate for another journal. But since I've committed to this one, because I've already put one of these little fasteners in here, I'll keep going with this little guy. So any sharp tool, an awl, which is what I've got, or a very thin, maybe a needle, maybe a knitting needle if it's sharp enough, anything. And I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm going to make a hole there. And one there, and I'm bending it. I don't want to bend it. Don't bend. No. Okay. And then I've got these tiny little cuties, cutie patootie little fasteners. I'm going to put them into the corners. And just get that down like so. Oh, 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 oh. Get this little guy in. Oh, come on. My granny used to say, more haste, less speed. She was right. The more I try and hurry, the slower I seem to work. Oh, come on. There you go. There we go. Okay. So we've got that down, and our last little bit, just to get this nameplate completed before it goes on the mini journal, is to get a little word down, a little name tag down, and I thought I'd just keep it pretty simple and put down the word journal. It's just I believe the font that I used was Algerian. So this is Algerian font, and I use just capital letters, and not the up here is different, but these ones are all the Algerian font, and I just printed this out on my printer. First I thought I'd do notebook or field journal, but they were too big. So just journal's fine. Okay, so I think this is also nice and dry now, so I can cut off this excess, get this paper that's sticking out off, like that, and like that. And then me get my, I'm using a lot of this black, not intentionally, it's on my table. So I'm using it. I'm going to use it just to get a little bit of this darker color, a little bit of accentuation, like it fell in the chimney or something, you know. Been sitting in an attic. Excuse me. Okay, and maybe then also on the inside, just to keep that theme going of it being an aged little journal. And Oh, got pages stuck together. Like that. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so what is, let me remind myself, what's the front? This is the front page, because I think, yeah, that's the front page. And we can now just put, oh the gosh, just look at that. It's so cute. Oh, so cute. I really love this. It came out really beautifully, and it's just sort of a passing thought that I had with the tinfoil. I just thought, I wonder if that'll work. And every time I think, I wonder if that'll work, I should just do it. Because look, it did work. Oopsie. I think probably I can put down a little more, right? A little more glue just for security. Maybe like that. I think that's better. I don't want this to come off. I'll just stick it up there. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Excuse me. Oh, I love it. I think it turned out beautifully. I think it's simple. It's inexpensive. These little journals are available at the dollar store. I know it's 3 for $1.25. You can also order them online. I've seen them on Amazon. So if you just want to do a little field journal, maybe this becomes your little notebook. If you like writing poetry, or you like maybe writing ideas down for projects, this is a perfect little book to have. Just plonk it in your handbag, or in your satchel, or in your book bag, or wherever it is. And it's just super cute. I just love how they turned out. Okay, you guys, well, I really hope that you make one and you come and show us on our Facebook page. I would love to see how yours turned out. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.